I think the key things are the new technology which they can actually become involved with, but also to recognise that there is likely to be changes in the export control regulations in the future, and just to keep awareness within their business areas that their changes may come along, and for them to be open to those changes and to understand the challenges if they engage with the additive manufacturing companies and the restrictions that may apply to spares or the machines themselves, also relating to deliveries to sanctioned countries or areas within that particular domain on the dual-use technology side for the powders as well. And really, the big one is giving their technology to these companies without realizing the implications for those commercial companies. I think the jury is out. Unfortunately, as we know, as most of us know, the international agencies are somewhat slow in reacting to new technologies. I would hope that perhaps they do recognise that things have moved on within industry and that they engage with us at a very early stage to draft any changes in the regulations appropriately, and not necessarily tie down all those technologies unnecessarily. The reason for attending is really to share my knowledge and experiences, being a compliance leader within GE, and GE being a very large organisation with a very diverse industrial base. But also to learn from a lot of the other presenters and people that have joined us in sharing our experiences between each other. And quite often I learn, in fact I can say without contradiction, every conference I've attended I've learned something new, and I've been in the compliance industry for well in excess of 13 years now, so I'm still learning today, and therefore if I can learn, then anybody joining us would actually get that same experience. I also think the open environment is very good, and it's not designed to be somebody pitching, but really to be interactive. And I thank you very much for your feedback that my presentation did foster that interdialogue between many different companies and many different people who were learning, in some cases, about that particular product group. The one we had from the Ministry of Defence was very interesting. I think understanding that certain businesses are perhaps not as mature in export compliance, and that includes governments, and their move towards a more compliance environment. We've seen new attendees this year as well as old regular attendees, and we very often get after conference discussion, and certainly the communication and wishing to learn from the more established companies is good for the whole of compliance globally. So yeah, really it's a pleasure. I think it's very difficult to know. I think the political situation, and I don't want to actually, from my position, talk about where we will end up. I think there's a lot of change going to occur. I think the Chinese authorities are trying to increase their controls as well. I think it's the government officials' responsibility to decide what measures should be applied. I think industry need to take that under advisement from government, and be supportive in some cases, but also to make government understand the implications to business should those policies come into fruition or any changes that occur. And I think that's the onus of all companies to sometimes engage with government and to give them as good advice as they can in these sorts of situations.